Welcome to North 40 News and New Scenes, NOCO Now. We are live. Each week we'll discuss Northern Colorado's most important topics, bringing guests to our show and encouraging questions from our audience on our website and social media. Be sure to send us your question either by email at nnn@north40news.com or on our social media pages on Facebook or YouTube. I'm Blaine Howerton, publisher of North 40 News and New Scene magazine, and with me today is Stephen Bonifazi. Stephen, who do we have with us today?
Well, Blaine, today we have Erin Cookman, better known for her stage name as Erin Incoherent. Erin is a punk rock singer-songwriter that grew up in Fort Collins and began performing music when she was 16. She played school talent shows, including a children's benefit show at Poudre High School. Erin was integral in the underground scene in her early years, playing venues like Hodie's Half Note and Moe's Barbecue. Over the last year, she has lived in New Jersey, where she created her recently released album, Dèjá Vu. Erin, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. How are y'all doing?
Doing great.
Very well. Thanks for asking. So thank you so much for speaking with us today. We're very happy to have you. I'm just going to jump right into it. So I wanted to ask you, how would you describe your music?
So I play acoustic guitar, and for my solo music, I've always played acoustic guitar. There are definitely elements of folk and Americana and indie. I have been raised from a wide variety of genre, and I'd like to feel like my music takes influence in a lot of different places. So I think punk rock singer-songwriter is the title that I've settled on that I think accurately kind of describes me, because the lyrics are very gritty. There's definitely a rebellious element to it, and mostly all of my work is autobiographical, so singing about things I have gone through personally.
And so is it easier for you to create music when it's tied to a personal connection then?
I think that I began creating music as a way to cope with life. It was how I think that that's kind of what creation is. It's how we can interpret our surroundings. And I think that I just drew my music from a place of helping translate my feelings.
Sure. So we'd like to play one of your videos for everybody viewing. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the video that we're going to play is called Roaches and Roommates, and this is a song on Dèjá Vu that I wrote after I lost my roommate to an overdose. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania was where I've been living for the past few years when that had happened, and Philly actually has the nation's worst epicenter for the opioid. What am I trying to say? The epidemic that we're facing in this country and that we have been facing for a long time. This is a really touching song. I feel very honored for being able to have a conversation publicly about harm reduction and using my music and my experiences with having lost somebody and being able to amplify the conversation to include my friends and people who they have lost to addiction. So the video does show footage of people who have died from overdose. One of them is a family member of mine. It goes on to have interviews with people I volunteered with Operation in My Backyard in Philadelphia, and they supply harm reduction resources to street citizens and people in need living in Kensington, Philadelphia, suffering from opioid addiction. Just asking them kind of how losing people in this way, how losing people to addiction or through consumption has affected their life. And the video is something I'm very proud to release. It's created a really compassionate discussion about harm reduction, and it's helped a lot of people find closure about a highly stigmatized topic that they generally work through a lot of the pain in the dark by themselves.
Sure.
Well, let's take a look.
Did they die?
He did.
Was it their first overdose?
It was his first, yeah.
Who were they to you?
He was my cousin.
How did you find out?
I was away at college and my family called me and told me.
How has it shaped or affected how you view opioids and addiction?
So he was the first person that I ever knew that did drugs and actually overdosed and died. So it was my first kind of exposure to drugs. And he was kind of the force that got me into working in the addiction field. And ever since, I've had a passion for educating people on the dangers of mixing drugs, because he actually died of mixing too many depressants. So now when I work with clients, I really like to tell them a lot about mixing like benzos and heroin and how you can die from it accidentally, because he accidentally died. So.
Do you still love them?
Of course.
Do you have any words for them?
Just that I love him, and I know that he's looking down on all of us.
Who were they to you?
One of my best friends. My uncle.
They were one of my best friends.
I do multiple services and I teach. And she took classes with me. And she was somebody that even volunteered with us at the agency for a long time.
A friend, a confidant, an artist I work with.
My cousin.
She was a friend, partner of 7 years, best friend.
One of my best friends lost her husband, and then growing up as well, I had quite a few friends who wound up ODing when we were kids, specifically in high school.
They were someone that I helped out for a long time in social services, and one that built a strong relationship with.
Someone that I met when I lived in a subway in Athens when I ran away when I was 15.
Me, I'm Amy.
How it shaped me, I've made a career out of helping people with addiction.
It made me think about how he must have felt like, or if he saw people walking over him and not helping him.
It made me think twice about how people shame users.
I'm sorry, I didn't make enough time for you.
I do overdose reversal trainings and education.
Said I'm worth it, and I'm trying to take it. Let's forget all the dumb shit and just get lifted. I said that I'm sorry, no more you down to party. I've always had this breakfast with the leg get started, yeah. And you're climbing in my window, and you leave the door locked. And you're calling me a bitch now, you're in too hard. Wait a minute, get a grip now, before you get the nerve. Put the pedal to the floor and make a wrong turn.
His friends were scared, and they didn't want to get in trouble, so they dropped him off on his dad's porch.
She died in a tent in Kensington. She was there for over 2 days before somebody found her.
They wound up in a coma for a couple days.
So, Erin, I would love to keep playing this. So it's just an amazing video. Can you tell me a little bit more, though? What inspired you to do this? Put it together.
Socially, we walk away from hard concepts too easily and too often. I was raised with a lot of people being willing to sweep things under the rug or not talk about things, turn the other cheek, not want to get their hands dirty with it, but behind closed doors kind of be, let's just say, like, less than Christian about it, you know, just like things that you don't understand about people, things that a lot of addiction is tied in with mental illness, is tied in with past trauma, you know, it's compounded after years of going through a lot of hardship. It's not an easy road. It's not something that people choose. So I just feel like there's just a lot of misinformation, a lot of stigma that keeps it from us being able to make effective change in how we view opioids and addiction. This isn't supposed to be this hard to talk about. It's not supposed to, like, it's certainly this tragic to lose somebody always. But the fact that I can't, you know, go 2 months without somebody dying from this, and my friends want to do cocaine, but they want to shame people who do heroin. They don't want to carry Narcan, but they don't want their friends to die of overdose. It's these types of conversations that keep us from affecting or rooting effective harm reduction strategies in our communities. So I think it's just really important for us to, and my work goes beyond talking about opioids. I focus on mental health a lot too, and on accountability work. And obviously we have racial justice work that's going on in this country that needs to continue happening globally. So I just find that most of this work intersects with a lot of the major problems that we're seeing on a social level.
Absolutely. And what an amazing video it was, and thank you for shedding a light on such a sensitive topic through your music.
I want to thank the people who submitted pictures too, and there are people who have still not seen this video because it's still too emotionally,
sure.
And that to me, that's bravery.
Absolutely, no, I couldn't agree more. So, what does self-awareness and recovery mean to you, and how did they play a role in creating your recent album, Dèjá Vu?
Okay. So this has been one of the craziest years of my life. It's been very spiritually in tune. The universe has definitely used me as a vessel for a lot of creation, a lot of healing, a lot of movement and growth. And I tend to find I make more progress in recovery when I make breakthroughs with mindfulness, with self-awareness. Again, when we talk about this work intersecting, it all influences itself. So the whole album of Dèjá Vu is a concept about how I broke toxic patterns, how I got away from bad relationships and people, and then it kind of cycles back around to asking myself these questions of well, what are you going to do to make these changes permanent? So when we talk about recovery and when we talk about harm reduction, it's about understanding that even if you relapse, you're going to love yourself. When we talk about self-awareness, it's that same concept of knowing that if you do something, to be accountable for it. And if you can be accountable for your actions, if you can make change, you can love yourself, or that you're supposed to love yourself in order to change. That makes sense.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So can we talk a little bit about COVID today and being a musician during this time? I mean, we've all heard the stories of musicians not being able to perform, so it's impacting everything that they do. It's impacting new music coming out. It's impacting their incomes. Tell me a little bit about your perspective on all of it, Erin.
So when this pandemic began, I was already living in the woods in New Jersey making my album. I was already kind of in quarantine, if you will. That started in January. But when quarantine actually took place and we knew that we can't have other musicians in for sessions, we can't do any kind of promotional shows to bring people together, or we couldn't even, we built this whole studio at House of Robot and we couldn't even bring people to the studio suddenly, So that was when we started focusing more on self-awareness. As far as how the pandemic has affected this year or being a musician moving forward, every show, every live stream, probably sans 3, has been for charity this year. So that's been one of the main things, is all the work I've done for my music has been to help benefit or to help raise money, to help redistribute wealth, which is cool. I mean, I did charity work before the pandemic, but it just, I don't know, it feels more meaningful. It feels more like we have a community of people that's deciding, because even though I'm not getting paid, my music is doing what it's supposed to do. It's doing what I wrote it to do, which is help people who need to heal. And so that, I don't need money for that. Unless, I mean, you need money for a good recording. I don't know. I try not to trap myself into thinking about how the numbers about it all, because I don't like to measure my worth based on, amount of views, amount of streams, amount of sales or purchases. It's been something even, I've gotten show offers this year and I've decided, if we have a pandemic going on, I don't want to ask people. I feel morally wrong asking people to come gather at a show so I can play. So I feel better as a musician during the pandemic playing live streams for charity.
Oh, that's amazing. And Erin, we do have another video we'd like to show, The End of the World. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yay! Okay, so this was a song I wrote before COVID happened, so it's just clever that it's the end of the world again. So this song has two different versions, and the one that you're gonna play is it's my more favorite version, and this was just a random idea that I had to take one of my songs and record it two different ways to showcase the duality of it. So the album version is very tongue-in-cheek, pop punk, just kind of pissed off and snotty. This is my end of the world, whatever. This piano version, it's very, you focus on the lyrics and the pain of the words, because the end of the world again is about losing friendships, and it's about being mentally unstable and thinking like, here's the end of the world again. Maybe if everybody just left me alone, I could finally heal.
All right, we'll take a look.
I can't seem to live my life consistently, no matter how hard you try. I don't know what's worse, feeling like I shouldn't hurt, or living so comfortably with pain. That's all I feel. And all I look for, this is my end of the world. This is me falling apart again. Yeah, this is just towing the line for me. It's so much people never change. Maybe this is just growing up. Friendships keep falling apart for me. So maybe it's naive to try to think I should just keep giving. No, it's my turn. Give me time. You're everywhere, I wish you weren't, and with me every chance you can make it hurt these days. You make everything feel worse. I can't help being who I am. I've tried so hard to feel it every turn. I know it just works, cause they say our past can't define you. Though nowadays they try to undermine you. This is my end of the world. This is me falling apart again. Yeah, this is just towing the line for me. Cause who am I? People never change. Maybe this is just growing up. Friendships keep falling apart for me. So maybe it's naive to try to think I should just keep giving. No, it's my turn. Give me time. This is my end of the world. This is me falling apart again. Yeah, this is just towing a line for me. Cause who am I? People never change. Maybe this is just growing up. Friendships keep falling apart for me. So maybe it's naive to try to think I should just keep giving. No, it's my turn. Give me time, give me time. Oh, give me time.
Wow.
What an amazing performance.
Thank you.
That was so great. And I see you have a little furry friend there with you.
This is Desmond. He's my best friend. We've
Desmond,
been on all the adventures together.
And how long have you had Desmond?
Desmond's 4.
Oh, wow. Your
That's
number
you.
one fan?
Handsome bear. We're talking about you.
He's a very handsome dog. So, Erin, where can people find your music and learn more about you?
Well, they can follow me on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter if you look up Erin Incoherent. You can get merch at store.erinincoherent.com. You can check out the new album wherever you stream music online. So if that's YouTube, Pandora, Spotify, or you can purchase by just going to my Bandcamp. So that's erinincoherent.bandcamp.com. You'll also have the opportunity to purchase the single that you just heard, The End of the World Again, featuring Minka.
Well, awesome. Well, Erin, we really appreciate you being here to speak with us today and everything that you do. Thank you so much for everything.
Thanks for having me. This is great.
Absolutely.
I have to say, Erin, I'm inspired. I'm really
good
really to sit here with you today, and the more over the last 5 years, the more local musicians that I've met in Northern Colorado, it just blows me away every time. Just the amount of talent we have here. And I mean, you're Fort Collins, like you went to high school here. Gosh, which high school was that?
Pooter
High.
Pooter High School, Blevins Junior High.
Right here in the heart.
Olander and Bennett. That's what. Yeah. So there's a song on Dèjá Vu called Harvest Man, and it's actually written about Fort Collins.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty interesting.
Well, thank you again so much, Erin, and please reach out to us if there's anything that we can do for you, and we are looking forward to seeing more music from you, and certainly highly recommending that people go and purchase your music at Bandcamp here with the address on the screen.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And yeah, there will be a music video coming out for Dèjá Vu. I have another opportunity coming up to make some records with Lise Duvall, so there'll be some stuff coming up people should keep their eyes peeled for.
Wonderful. And we should mention that this will be published. We'll be publishing a story in North 40 News and New Scene section, probably in the next week or so. So please keep an eye on North 40 News for that. For those of you that have lived in Northern Colorado for a while, may remember when Scene was a magazine, separate magazine. Since the pandemic, we've rolled that into North 40 News, and we're now providing content on a weekly basis. So keep an eye out for that, and certainly to support and help us with efforts like this. Subscriptions are amazing. They're huge. Every $10, $30, $70, whatever you can do for a subscription really helps our publications all around. So we'd encourage you to do that, and you can do that on any of our websites by clicking subscribe and following the prompts. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Erin.
Thank you, Blaine and Stephen.
Yes. Until next time. This is NoCo Now, and we appreciate everyone's time.
Thank you.
Bye.